Доброго ранку.
Good morning, everyone who watch us online and who are here in this hall. February 28th, International Rare Disease Day. And our today's conference is about this. Valentina Mitseruk, Valentina Hiemstra, Director of the Kyiv City State Administration Health Department, Jan Thomas, Country Director, UNDP, Tetiana Kulesha, Board Member of the Public Union Orphan Diseases of Ukraine, Oksana Aleksandrova, Board Member of the Public Union Orphan Diseases of Ukraine, Tetiana Zamorska and Larysa Voloshyna. They are the members of the Board of the Public Union Orphan Diseases of Ukraine. And we will be joined by the representatives of the President of Ukraine for Children's Rights. And also
this is a special day.
And Oksana, representative of the Commission of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine for Human Rights. Good afternoon, dear representatives of patients' organizations and doctors, or not the representatives of the power who are here in this hall and who listen us and watch us on TV. So today, our Public Union Orphan Disease of Ukraine, and I'm the head of this organization, Tetiana Kulesha, and today we mark the International Rare Disease Day. This day is marked in Europe, and we support this day by events that we hold in Ukraine. So I would like to start with the video that is spread in the European countries, and we have the rights for it in Ukraine, and it was translated into Ukrainian. This video is about rare diseases.
It's that time, that rare time. Time to join our team. Time to show us your rare face, your let's defeat this face. Rare is more than 300 million people, 6,000 different diseases. Looks like rare is not so rare. Rare comes in all ages, all colours, all shapes, all sizes. It's time to rare up. Get your rare on. Show you're rare, a never back down kind of rare. Come out on top rare. It's rare up time, never give up time. Shine your light time.
With your help, we can raise awareness and increase support for research in the ever-growing movement against rare disease. Show you're rare. Show you care.
So this is the motto. Show you rare, show you care. And today we mark the Rare Disease Day, and we have a lot of patients like this in Ukraine, and we do not have proper registers, and we should deal with this problem. And about 5% suffer from these diseases in Ukraine. We could have even a big city with the patients who have this rare diseases. Now we have a law that provides for these patients, and it provides the medicines for these patients, but this law is not implemented in many oblasts, and many officials didn't hear about this law, or they do not want to hear about it. And we want to speak loud about these diseases today, because in Europe people show their solidarity, and Ukrainian patients just fight for their survival in our country. And we have the law that envisages that we should provide for these patients, and we should have proper register of these patients, and our union addressed the power in order to create such a registry. And today we have all the necessary documents, all the necessary grounds, and even sponsors who are able to create all Ukrainian register. But we here that it is not timely, or and we want that in 2018 such registry is introduced, and we believe that we can do it. Our patients, they need costly medicines, and this is the second problem we are going to speak about today. During the last 4 years, the government made big steps in treatment and providing of medicines for such patients, and there was a lot of attention to orphan patients, but the Ministry of Healthcare submitted documents to Ministry of Finances, but the Ministry of Finances didn't support this, and we sent an open letter today to Mr. Groisman in order to support such patients, and Ukraine started to treat these patients and take care of these patients. And in 2018, conditions should be created for treatment of these patients. We do not have the registry, we do not have financing, and there is one more big problem. These are centers that can research and examine such patients like in any European country. We do not say that this should be done by the minister, but we have a clear plan how to do this, and we submitted this plan to the Ministry of Healthcare, and for us it is really sad to hear from the advisors of Olena Supron. They say that there are laws, but maybe it's not timely, but we would like that professionals and professional specialists of the state, they should pay attention to orphan diseases and orphan patients. We do not have financing, and we do not have proper centers, and in this society we do not have clear understanding what orphan patients, who are these people. And we start a flash mob that is called Orphan, and we ask all the people who know, who understand, those people who have these problems to join our flash mob Orphani Synici. And why it is important? Because for our patients, this is the bird in the hand, and those who travel, who give birth, this is just a dream for our patients, and they first should have this bird in the hands. And please spread the information about the orphan diseases and orphan patients' problems in Ukraine. And one more problem we want to touch upon. So there is a law on the treatment of such patients, and there are bylaws that should provide for such patients. One of these draft laws, this is Resolution 160 of the Cabinet of Ministers. But after Resolution 180 was introduced, many nosologists are not provided in the regions, and for our patients, this is a big problem, and our patients, they get the treatment in two positions. There's a state procurement, and they are done regularly and successfully, and the Antonas is going to tell us about it today. But many patients, they get their treatment through regional programs, and this national list prevents our patients from getting this treatment, and we address the Ministry of Healthcare and everyone who is involved, and those who read this national list, they should introduce all necessary medicines that our patients in the regions need, or not to establish this, exclude this from the list. So we submitted the draft document how to bring those patients out this list and to provide for them separately. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Healthcare didn't pay attention to this document. Let's be honest. We are all for reforms. We want to change this country, but we do not want that these reforms were without us, without our consent. We want to take part in the reform of the system, and we want our patients to get proper treatment. And thank you for your attention. We are going to speak a lot today about provision of medicines for such patients, and I give the floor to Olena Grigorievna. She is the will tell us about the provision of medicines for our patients, and also we have problems with patients 18 plus. Ukraine provides not all patients, but it provides for children. And due to support of the government and the programs that were introduced during the last 4 years, our patients live up to 18 years. But then they just perish because Ukraine does not provide for the patients who are 18 plus. And we also are going to discuss these issues during today's briefing. Olena, please, the floor is given to you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I address to you. I believe that we today jointly implement those responsibilities in our organizations in which we work, and for the families, for parents, children, the most valuable. And I'm really glad that I'm here today with you, that we are here today, and we struggle for life, and we do everything possible for our children in order that their rights were properly provided for. So people who have orphan diseases, they just fight for their rights, and this is sad. And we are going together with you. We understand your problems. We try to implement all possible measures, and we can. And today we mark the Day of Rare Disease, and this day gathers a lot of people, and patients, and those who are involved, they should be heard. And Valeria Vladimirovna knows about this problem. She pays a lot of attention to this problem, and in 2017 many events were held. We held joint events with you on the basis of our secretariat. We constantly addressed to local government, and as Tetiana said, a lot depends on local power that finances a number of treatments and catering for children, and can finance catering for adults, food for adults, but maybe not people understand properly their responsibilities, and we file requests, we control the situation, and we really do everything possible to reach positive results. So if there is no proper financing at local level, they can search and simply do this. So also a lot of work is done jointly with the Ministry of Healthcare, and we believe that this body that implements responsibilities in this area should accumulate all the efforts in order to create this unification in order to reach some important goals. So reports from the oblasts are collected, but they are sporadic. We do not have proper registry, and if we don't have this register, we do not know how to what amount of funds to allocate in order to provide proper food for those people and proper medicines that are needed for these people. Unfortunately, we do not have proper screening, we do not have proper examination. As I know, only for some patients we have the screening for newborns in hospitals, but the world is moving ahead and we should use this experience. If we plan to be the European state, next question that is really important, this is uninterrupted supply of medicines and solutions that are not now enough, and not all nosologists are provided 100%. The Ministry of Healthcare this year submitted additional request for finance and it was rejected. And we got from the Ministry of Finance also the letter that these proposals were not taken into account. But we should not stop, we should move ahead, and we should demand the introduction of changes to the budget in order to reach these goals. So the requests, the letters, and including concerning Resolution 180 and about state procurement last year, they were not properly done. We didn't get the information from the Ministry of Healthcare that this procurement for the money of 2070 were done. The ministry refrains from answering, and we ask why, because maybe there is something to hide, not to show to people, not to provide some information for us. So I believe that after these events, after we get this incentive from you, I believe that we will prepare the letter to Mr. Groisman in order to provide proper procurement financing to provide for the rights of the patients in the sphere of healthcare. We are together with you. We know each other. We know each other through letters or personally. And I would like to wish all of us to have strengths and opportunities that we will be able to give to our children, to give to our citizens for a dignified life. I really respect your work, and we believe that we should fight, and thus we will win, as our classics say. And I would like to give the floor to Jan Thomas, who is going to tell us real about procurement through international organizations. That is really important for the orphan patients, and we do not want to lose this experience that really helps us to save the money. The orphan diseases are provided through procurement without interruption, and we do not want to lose this experience and those reforms that will be in 2019. And we invited the representatives of the Ministry of Healthcare to hear about the provisions for the orphan patients in the future reform. We asked these questions many times, but as the previous speaker said, the Ministry of Healthcare refrains from the comments, and we do not know our fate and the reform that is ongoing. I would like to give the floor to Jan Thomas.
Good morning, everyone.
Доброго ранку всім.
Happy Rare Disease Day.
Дуже рада, що сьогодні день присвячений рідкісним захворюванням.
Orphan Disease Day.
Орфанним захворюванням.
I heard the speeches before me about the awareness about rare diseases, and I myself are a product of your awareness.
Я вже чув те, що говорили попереду, щодо того, що підняття рівня обізнаності про рідкі, про орфанні захворювання. І я саме така людина, яка виросла, яка змінила своє ставлення через підняття рівня обізнаності.
Until 3 years ago, until I came to Ukraine, I never heard about rare diseases.
Тому що 3 роки тому, до того моменту, як я приїхав в Україну, я ніколи не чув про рідкісні захворювання.
Also, I don't know much medicines because I stay away from doctors as much as I can.
І також я не знаю дуже багато саме про медичні препарати, тому що я намагаюся уникати докторів як намога більше.
But here in Ukraine we have a very unique situation in which the government and the people of Ukraine are asking the United Nations to procure medicines on their behalf.
Але в Україні склалась унікальна ситуація, тому що уряд та громадяни України саме просять допомоги ООН в наданні допомоги в закупівлі медичних препаратів для таких захворювань.
That is very unique. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
Це ситуація унікальна, тому що в інших країнах такого не траплялось.
So I know more about disease and medicine than I should.
Саме тому я знаю набагато більше про такі захворювання та про медичні препарати, чим я міг би знати або повинен був знати.
As United Nations Development Program, we are very proud to assist in this area of medicine procurement, also particularly medicines for rare diseases.
Як ПРООН організація, яка працює в Україні, ми дуже раді надавати таку допомогу саме в наданні допомоги в закупівлі медичних препаратів, включаючи медичні препарати для рідких захворювань.
We believe that thanks to our assistance over the last 3 years, the procurement of medicine has been far more stable for many medicines in this country.
Ми дуже віримо, що завдяки нашій допомозі останні 3 роки процес закупівлі медичних препаратів став набагато стабільнішим, ніж був до цього в цій країні.
The prices of many medicines have dropped dramatically, and particularly in rare diseases, my colleagues are telling me that the prices have dropped even 50% over the last 2-3 years, which means twice as many people can be treated as before.
Ціни на багато медичних препаратів знизилися дуже значно, і мої колеги говорять мені, що за останні 2-3 роки ціни саме на медичні препарати для рідких захворювань знизились більш ніж на 50%, а це означає, що вдвічі більше людей з рідкісними захворюваннями зможуть отримати лікування та медичні препарати.
Also, we have been able to sign long-term agreements.
Також ми змогли заключити довгострокові угоди.
Because as we know, every year we have to buy these medicines, so why not make agreements for long term so that the prices even get better?
Тож ви розумієте, що кожного року ми повинні закупляти такі медичні препарати. То чому тоді не заключати довгострокові угоди для того, щоб отримувати ще кращі ціни та заключати договір на ще більший строк?
We are working together with the Ministry of Health on this part of health reform, and we believe that for a while still the United Nations will be buying medicine for you and for other patients in the country.
Ми працюємо з Міністерством охорони здоров'я саме в цьому аспекті, в сфері реформування системи охорони здоров'я. І ми сподіваємося, що деякий час ПРООН буде ще далі закупляти медичні препарати для вас, для ваших пацієнтів в цій сфері.
But you have to keep your eyes on it, because somewhere next year or the year after, medicine procurement will slowly go back to where it belongs. Medicine procurement does not belong to United Nations, right? It belongs to a Ukrainian institution. So slowly, a handover will take place, but you have to keep your eye on that.
Але ви повинні контролювати цей процес, тому що через деякий час, через рік або декілька років, крок за кроком, дуже поступово, але цей процес перейде туди, куди він повинен і перейти, до українських інституцій. Тому що цей процес не повинен виконуватися Організацією Об'єднаних Націй. Цей процес повинен виконуватися українськими інституціями, тож тримуйте, піклуйтесь про нього та наглядайте за ним.
We don't want to go back to the past, right? We want to go to the future.
Ми не хочемо повертатися в минуле, ми хочемо йти в майбутнє, так?
As the United Nations, we are helping the Ministry of Health to set up a new institution, but also patients' organizations like yours have to keep the pressure, because this country has to move forward and not backwards.
Ми, як ООН, допомагаємо Міністерству охорони здоров'я створити спеціальну організацію або інституцію, яка буде наглядати за цим процесом. Але ви, як пацієнтські організації, будь ласка, слідкуйте за цим процесом для того, щоб Україна могла йти шляхом тільки вперед.
In the meantime, we want to congratulate the patients' organization for working very well with us. We work in a highly transparent way. Also on our website, you will find exactly what we're doing. And through my colleagues, you can always ask, where are we, what are we doing, what is the next step?
Я хотів би також подякувати нашим пацієнтським організаціям за те, що ми співпрацюємо дуже добре, і також, що наша співпраця є дуже прозорою, і це те, чим ми дуже опікуємося. Ви можете слідкувати за прозорістю, за процесом на нашому вебсайті, де ми постійно публікуємо матеріали, дізнаватися інформацію від моїх колег про те, як, коли і де саме проходять процеси та як це виконується.
So we are looking forward to the coming few years with reform and more changes, but we need to make sure that these changes are in our benefit, right? And the benefit of the people of Ukraine, particularly those who need medicines, particularly when these medicines are sometimes so expensive. So thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to celebrate with you.
Тож ми рухаємося шляхом вперед, шляхом реформ та шляхом змін, але ми повинні слідкувати за тим, щоб ці зміни, ці реформи виконувались на користь нас, на користь громадян України, на користь тих особливо громадян та пацієнтів, які потребують особливого лікування. І ми повинні слідкувати за цим. Дуже дякую за те, що ви дали мені можливість виступати. Зі святом!
Я дуже дякую Яну.
I am very thankful to Jan Thomas and the zoologists we understand for which international procurement is not possible, but those nosologists which are provided and which are funded via international organizations, we have successful experience because we buy at lower prices than before. And along with the Ministry of Health and with the Ministry of Finance, with the help of international organizations, we would like to organize the system of assistance to orphan patients, because now there are only rare cases, spot cases of assistance. The lack of register is a problem, and upon today's meeting and our letters and negotiations, we will find joint ways with the Ministry of Health how to provide our patients at the decent level. I would like to give the floor to Oksana Aleksandrova, member of the board, like me, and she represents the patients who are suffering lungs hypertension. Good afternoon. I would like to congratulate you on the Rare Disease Day and to thank Jan Thomas for his warning that we can't go to the past, but we also can't stay in the present. In the stop in our case is regress of our condition, health condition, and all the cure which we have taken by the time, we can just lose the effect of it. This is the problem of the whole world, rare diseases, and the whole world, including Europe, now turned their face to the orphan diseases. Starting from 1999, very many directives have been introduced, so pharmaceutical companies started to put money to finance the medicines for rare disease patients. In 2009, the new statement was issued for European countries to develop the strategies of assistance to rare disease patients, and if in 2004 such programs were available only in 4 countries, today they are available in 24 countries. Very many countries are being developing the program. Ukraine has unique situation when we have the law protecting rare disease patients. Such laws are not available in other countries. We have the regulation which should ensure procurement of medicines to rare disease patients, but neither law nor the regulation works and the regulations also are adopted which restrict the rights of rare disease patients, like 180th resolution, which stopped regional procurement since January this year. We have addressed the ministry many times. We have the vision, we have the program how to develop the policy on procurement of medicines for orphan patients. We need the register. This is also said in the directives of the European Commission. The register should be agreed with the European law so that patients can get assistance from European countries. We should establish expert centers for diagnostics, and screening should be broader so that we can diagnose the diseases at the early stage so that our children can survive. We have addressed the Ministry of Health on behalf of the orphan diseases of Ukraine Public Union and other NGOs. We would like to see the partner in the Ministry of Health, but when the words should be supported by efforts, we do not see such efforts. So we address the Prime Minister today, asking to hear us and to understand the problem of orphan patients and to take specific actions to provide us the opportunity to live. Good afternoon, my name is Tetiana Zamorska. I represent an NGO which is a member of Orphan Diseases of Ukraine Public Union. You saw at the beginning of this event a video. So this day today is a holiday when orphan patients are not afraid to tell that they are suffering orphan diseases, and they draw attention. We draw attention to us what is happening in European countries and in other countries. The orphan patients, they request clinical research, more efficient therapies, protocols. They get the whole spectrum, the whole range of services which let them survive, because often diseases is a lifelong burden on the parents from the birth of the child till the end of life, because the most portion of these diseases, of orphan diseases, they are genetic diseases, and no family is capable to pay all the funds which the orphan disease consume. So assistance is established in European countries where people have the bird in the hand, but not in the bush. We are struggling to say that orphan patients are available in Ukraine. Every 20th family has an orphan patient. An orphan disease is like a lottery, and you can't change anything. But there is something which you can change. We can change attitudes of our citizens, and we can change conditions, living conditions of orphan patients in Ukraine. We do not live, we try to survive. This is how we live, these are our conditions. We have had many hopes that Ms. Olena Sprun and her team would resolve many systemic issues on a systemic level. We understood that there are problems and they would remain, but after a year of her being the minister, we can evaluate the results. A year is enough to demonstrate the result, and we can evaluate everything which was done in the aspect of orphan diseases. There is a law which guarantee free of charge and free procurement of medicines to cure orphan diseases, as the law also is saying that the procedure should be in place and the register should be established. So all those issues, they were regulated by the law, but for many years, and 1 year of Miss Olena Supran in her office, we do not see systemic results. This is it's a pity. We are a very powerful union. We are mothers and fathers of orphan patients, children. We should help our governmental bodies. We understand this. Last year we put many efforts into development of the regulatory framework which would ensure implementation of the law, and we had meetings with Ms. Olena Supran, and we provided her the draft resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers, which should have regulated the situation. Unfortunately, we have not been heard. Our communication was like a switch light. So we got the red light, not the green. We think that we can help the ministry to address the issue, but we have the red light. We have provided the red light, and yesterday we engaged people from all over Ukraine, patients from all over Ukraine, to take part in an advocacy training. There are people who protect patients' rights in Ukraine. In the current situation with the procurement, this professional work would become more often used. We share our legal experience and skills so that the patients are more efficient in fighting for their rights. As concerns governmental procurement in 2016, the delay was very large with procurement, but in 2017 the delay was 1 year long. Our patients in 2017 did not receive any medicines, and the effects on their health state could be very significant and adverse. Mr. Jan Thomas already said how the partnership of UNDP and the ministry are seen. They try to procure according to the best practices, but the cooperation is efficient when both sides, both parties are efficient. Large problems are characteristic for the Ministry of Health. The reviews demonstrated that there are huge problems with the distribution of medicines, both according to the governmental programs via international organizations up once the medicines have passed customs clearance, several weeks pass until the patients receive them on site. As an NGO, we also address the problem of the register. It was a failed project last year. We fought for introduction of the national register last year because this step was important for our state, but the national list started working since January 1st. The procurements on local levels were frozen. I have very many letters from orphan patients where they say that they got negative responses. They were rejected when they applied for nutrition products and for medicines which are not on the list. This happens in the regions where we experience good attitude to orphan patients. This is yet another problem which have not been resolved by the ministry. This is how to interact with the departments of health on regional level. The decentralization now results in the lack of cooperation between the ministry and the regions. In practice, there is a resolution number 160 which say that the medicine should be provided in the region, but the ministry have no influence on the regions when regional departments say they do not have funds. This is a problem of lack of responsibility of the bureaucrats at the local level. You see, we have red t-shirts on. We waited from the Ministry of Health that the orphan patients' disease would be paid enough attention. We think that enough attention means dialogue, meetings. So far, the Ministry of Health have been ignoring our requests to roundtable discussions, and the Ministry does not consider the documents which we file. This press briefing has two goals. First, to attract attention to often diseases in our country and critical negative attitudes to it in our country, and the second goal is to draw attention of the Ministry of Health. We do not want return to the past, and we have great hopes that this briefing would help us to be heard and that critical issues would be resolved upon this briefing. Thank you for attention. Good afternoon. My name is Larysa Voloshyna. I represent the All Ukrainian Association of patients who suffer mucoviscidosis. And I'm a member of Orphan Diseases of Ukraine Public Union. As the Human Rights Commissioner said, our children are screened only for 4 nosologies, and we hope 7 will be since this year. In the USA, 64 orphan diseases are screened. We want our orphan patients to get non-stop treatment because there are regulatory documents saying so, but in fact we have nothing. Every nosology is no nosology is 100% supplied with medicines. Last year we were fighting for orphan and non-orphan the nosologies, human rights and rights of children and rights of patients. They were not exercising the full scope. What we have the list which is in place, and no region, no hospital individually, they can buy medicines for patients.
In French?
So we will give our statement to Mr. Grossman, because our patients cannot survive in such situation. My congratulations on today's holiday. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to congratulate everyone on the Rare Disease Day. I am glad to see everyone. This is our opportunity, our chance to see each other and to get together. I would like to address bureaucrats on size. We do not have time, our children do not have time to wait. The price of waiting is life. I would like to address everyone on local level. The year 2018 will be dedicated by us to visits, on-site visits. We will address local authorities seeking funding for medicines for our children. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. And thank you for being with us on this important day. Not for all nosologies we have medicines, not all nosologies are curable, but even those which are curable today, they are not funded, and the medicines are not provided to children. Those nosologies which are not curable, those people, they also have the right to live a decent life. The issue of palliative assistance is on the agenda. This assistance is not provided on local level. When a person, when everyone understands among bureaucrats that patient will die anyway, but this end of life could be spent in decent conditions. This concerns often patients because most of orphan diseases are incurable so far. Thank you. I would like to thank everyone for today's briefing, and to all patients, organizations and doctors organizations who come here to this briefing. We do not spend just one day to orphan diseases. We will be fighting for all orphan patients in Ukraine. To continue and sum up, I would like to say, upon this briefing, we will file this letter to the Commissioner on Human Rights and Commissioner on Children's Rights, and to Mr. Grossman to provide medicines to orphan patients, and we will address the issue of underfunding. The Ministry of Health addressed the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance provided zero funds. So we will be looking for the constructing dialogue with the Ministry of Health to establish national and European register of orphan patients, and all of us will be fighting in the regions for our rights, for achieving the goal of curing our patients and not stopping any program which has been developed in regions. This press briefing is only the start. At 12 o'clock today, patients from all over Ukraine, I would like to address the journalists. This year is the second year in the sequence when we want to demonstrate to our state when the state do not provide cure to our patients. But when the state gives such medicines, our patients will go to the skating rink. Last year, all our patients were skiing in Protasiv Yar. This year, we again extend to our state that at 12 o'clock at the skating rink, our patients will demonstrate if patients will get the bird in the hand and they will be able to live decent life, full-fledged life. So all of you are welcome to take part in the skating in Dream Town.
Вже давно перебрали час.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.